I will quickly introduce Sanchit to all of you. Quick house rules. I would request everyone to please switch on their videos. It's a small, intimate group. Um, Helps everybody connect with each other. Sanchit has made a very interesting presentation. He understands the kind of cohort he's speaking to today. It really helps to connect with the audience. Sanchit here is the co-founder of Xportel. He's previously worked with Uber and Walmart, and he's probably one of the forthcoming voices in the Indian export ecosystem space right now. He writes extensively about the cross-border space, and he's been helping multiple Indian D2C brands cross borders and go global. Um, his focus is largely marketplace strategy, pricing, compliance, logistics, of course, which Exportal does. Um, and this session is built around case studies for brands like yours. He has actually picked some very actionable case studies and he's devised his own frameworks that you can use to price your product right. For folks who have any questions, please use the chat box to put in your questions or raise your hands. We will take them up as as we have time. And if anybody has any thoughts, any perspectives they want to offer to fellow founders, please feel free to do that as well. Sanchit, over to you. Yeah, take it away.
Oh, cool. I'll start sharing my screen. Just give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Can you all see my screen? Uh, can you see my screen, Vishnu? Is it okay?
Yes, yes, I can see your
Okay, cool.
screen.
Great.
Just wait.
Okay,
Can others see?
Yes,
Please, a show of hands.
yes, we can see his screen.
Okay, lovely. Awesome.
okay, cool. Really excited to do this. Okay. So hi everyone. I'll quickly introduce myself and then we'll get into more around marketplaces. So my name is Sanchit. I am one of the co-founders at Xportel. I come from a purely tech background. I was in the US for the last 8 years, moved back. It's been 2 years since I moved back. I mean, still feels recent, but yeah. I moved there for my master's. Post that, started working at Walmart. Within Walmart, supply chain logistics, delivery processes, Walmart International, kind of touched everything at Walmart. Post that, started working at Uber. Within Uber, there's this division called Uber Freight that I was a part of. So logistics tech basically is something that I've been doing throughout my career. Started working on Exportal almost 2 years back, moved back to India to do this. I just feel there isn't a better place in the world to build than India right now. So very, very bullish on the India to the world story. And that kind of resonates with what we are doing at Exportal. The idea with Exportal is to help brands like yours, D2C brands, SMEs from India go global. Um, we'll basically be touching on marketplace strategy and like pricing for marketplaces and what actually works. What I'll do is I'll quickly try to go over the slides that I've prepared for you guys. Um, won't spend a lot of time on this, but we'll spend probably the second half of this discussing more around questions, what you guys are doing today, what are you planning in terms of marketplaces, how can we price it? Um, so four main topics to touch today. One, the export opportunity from India. Obviously, we see that D2C brands are doing very, very well globally. We'll go into a deep dive in terms of how you should price your product. So I have a structure that I generally follow on how you should price, what all things you should look at, what are the hidden costs that can come out of this. That should help you price your first few set of products, or if you've already done that, it'll just be an exercise to revisit that and see um, if it aligns with what the market says at the moment. A few case studies. I tried to go into how the cohort has been, how the structure of the cohort is, and tried to get some relevant case studies in. I might bring in some of the brands that are here as well into my case studies and like how it could be relevant for you. And then like I like to close it off with generally a framework or an action plan that can actually help you figuring a few things out as you expand into global markets. So okay, let's get into this. Obviously, India export market inflection point. We all know the entire China plus one strategy. People wanting to go global. I think it's just about getting a taste of what exports is for the brands before they actually start thinking about like expanding. The first few orders that you try, you start to realize that, okay, in India, definitely we are fighting for the top. I mean, that's how we have seen it, top 5 to 10% of the audiences, but the globe is open at the moment. So um, a lot of the brands you've seen, they've also realized like doing probably 10,000 orders in India could mean doing one-fifth of those globally while making the same amount of money and while seeing how it actually plays out in terms of margins as well. Uh, so what we have seen is like it's a $13.6 billion market growing 26.5%. This is faster than the inbound actually, which was actually also surprising when we started to look at these metrics first. 200,000 sellers are already selling on Amazon. And out of this, approximately 70% of the market share for these channels, like basically it's marketplace sellers. When you compare it to like either a social commerce, now this could be a TikTok or it could be via Instagram, almost 70% of these um, sellers are selling on marketplaces at the moment. You've seen strong drivers in terms of how it's scaling up. 70% of the Amazon global selling India merchant reports actually. Sorry, just give me 1 second. So sorry. Nice. Okay. Yeah, so 70% of the Amazon global selling India merchant reports like international revenue is actually growing faster than domestic at the moment. Part of the reason for that is obviously the revenue per order that comes in. But yeah, like it counts in the end towards the metrics that people have been tracking. So fashion and apparel actually leads this sector with a 29% market share. There are initiatives from the government. Like in the last few years, we've seen categories like CSB4, CSB5, separate courier terminals. Now, these are categories which are meant for samples or if you're shipping as an e-commerce exporter. Recently, um, another change that came into the policies was there was a limit for CSB5 shipments. For those of you who are not familiar, CSB5 is courier shipping modes within which you say, okay, this is what I'm shipping. You get a shipping bill for that, and then you have to give it to RBI or to the banks to basically say that here's a proof that I shipped a certain product. So there was a limit of 5 lakh on it, then it changed to 10 lakh, and that limit has been completely removed now. Part of the reason is the government also wants you to export more and more as you scale up. So cumulatively, e-commerce exports crossed like 20 billion. The newer target for this 2030 global goal over here is 80 billion. And I mean, we're expecting the share for this cross-border market to rise from 0.16 to 1.41, which is actually a big jump when we look at it. Doesn't seem very big from a percentage standpoint, but that jump from 0.16 to 1.41 is actually very big. Um, so why marketplaces first? Like there are a few reasons that every customer who comes to us and starts thinking about export, we recommend marketplaces to start with. Few of them are like the built-in traffic. So Amazon has 2.2 billion monthly visitors, Walmart has 4 million plus, and there's eBay. There are other regional marketplaces as well. So you could be working with an Etsy, which is very focused on like creative products, handmade products. Then there's Noon in the UAE. TikTok Shop is something that has gone viral over time. Like there's a such a big potential to go viral with TikTok, but like you should be very well prepared when you start thinking about TikTok in general. The reason being like you could actually go viral overnight and like you should make sure that you have the demand and like you have the backend supply to cater to it. Then there's established trust. These customers are coming on the marketplaces to um, they actually are taking the trust of the marketplace through which they discover you. So that kind of plays with the brand as well. And eventually, obviously, you can think about going D2C as well, but it helps you test the waters when you start with marketplaces. Fulfillment networks, again, I think we've seen all this in the domestic journey as well. We've been using things like FBA. So similar things apply when you go into a newer market. Um, then there's WFS, which is by Walmart. Then there's shipping and returns. Like all of this is sorted. When you talk about cross-border, one of the biggest concerns that I've seen with people is actually figuring out returns. Most of the times, like if you go through a marketplace, they manage the returns. In the end, it comes to them. People don't prefer bringing back the entire shipment to India, but it can be replenished for your next order. Um, then there's the lower upfront costs of not having a website, the payment gateway piece, or the logistics setup. Marketplaces take care of most of the things for you. And compliance is the biggest thing. Like whenever you start thinking about going global, the first thing that should be looked at is compliance. So do you have the necessary paperwork to get customs cleared? Are you making sure that you're paying taxes in the right way? All of these things are managed by these platforms. I mean, they have partners like us, like Xportel in this journey, who take care of these things behind the scenes. But it's actually very important to make sure that the compliances pieces are handled very well. Uh, I mean, then there are trade-offs also of going like working with marketplaces, but those can be addressed. Once you start to scale up, you can think about other revenue streams as well. You can think about other channels. So the biggest trade-off here is the marketplace commission fees, which most of the people are worried about when you start thinking about marketplaces. So there's a 15 to 40% of revenue that we see goes to these marketplaces. Um, but that's fine. Like they're giving you that initial level of visibility that you need when you start thinking about going global. Uh, I think for this cohort, I saw that there are a lot of startups, a lot of brands that are actually in that 2 to 10 crore revenue. Many of you guys are first time exporters as well. So starting with 1 to 2 marketplaces actually makes sense. Now that depends on the type of product that you're selling and which area you want to go in. So for creative products, like I said, Etsy, then there's Amazon. Probably everything can go on Amazon. TikTok, we've seen it to work for products like nutraceuticals, beauty products. And then come to the fee structure and stuff in a bit. This is just a high level view of what marketplaces you can approach. Um, do we want to do a quick poll over here, Vishnupriya, to see what marketplaces people are using at the moment, or what are the first ones that they think about?
Yeah, yes, let's launch that. Folks, you would see a poll on your screen. Please give us a quick pulse check of where you are selling right now.
So, haven't we enabled multiple choice? Because see, I believe many people would be using more than one.
Maybe we
Correct.
can pick the topmost ones for now.
Okay.
Folks are selling on Shopify. Shopify is clearly winning. And
I
Manas,
guess
yeah.
I guess there's familiarity with Shopify. Shopify changed a lot of their uh, interfaces a few months back. I guess a lot of things changed back then, but it's good to see people are actually going B2C.
Manas says he's not using a marketplace right now.
To say.
Interesting. Manas, would you like to tell us where you are selling right now, how you're exploring it,
I'm selling on my own website.
and how is that working for you?
Yeah, I'm selling only through my website, no marketplace, nothing.
Interesting.
Has running ads and like making sure that it stays profitable overall been a challenge, or like you've seen because it when going into
No,
a newer market or
actually,
something?
see, the thing is, one thing which I've realized that if you start selling on Amazon, your website sales goes down
Yeah,
because Amazon, what it does is, suppose someone is looking for grey pottery, right? Amazon will definitely show your brand name ad over there.
yeah,
So if you are not selling on Amazon and your products are very exclusive, people will buy from your site. But
that's
if you have
true.
also made it available on Amazon, in that case, what happens is that Amazon takes away your own customers.
Yeah, in the end, like customer is what everyone wants to own, right? So
Yeah, if you want to build a
fair.
brand, right? For example, someone in like we get a lot of reference now.
Mhm.
So they always say that where did you buy it from? I bought it from Grey Pottery. It's not that I
Yeah,
just bought it from Amazon.
that's fair. That's fair. I mean, the way we have seen it is people start on Amazon and then or Amazon, or for that matter, any marketplace, and then they start to price their products in a way that once you own the customer, like specifically when you're building a brand, then you want the customer to come to your website for the second time. But it takes a while to build that sort of a brand, and then you're burning on both ends as well. So, but
No,
fair.
we targeted our website
Hmm.
because Google because see our product is visually very good, right? So YouTube and Instagram and Facebook is good enough to show the visuals of the
Yeah.
product, and we are trying to target window shoppers.
Okay. And you're selling only in India at the moment, or you've started internationally?
Uh, we are getting a lot of inquiries from
Hmm.
international, from Australia. We are
Okay.
getting a lot of inquiries from, I don't know why, but Pakistan,
Okay.
even though they cannot afford it. All right. Then we are getting a lot of demands from UAE side. We are getting a lot of demand from in UK also. Yeah, we are using Ship Global,
Hmm.
but the cost of logistic is twice the cost of the product.
Hmm. Interesting. Yeah, I
And
think
I did
I
do a
think
small research, like if we wanted to launch in US, because we were getting a lot of inquiries. So in Seattle, I did find a space and everything. But then I was looking more in the direction of, getting someone basically for operations over there,
hmm,
taking
interesting.
my own space over there, sending my products over there, and then, having a kind of a partner
Yeah.
for Grey Pottery US.
Hmm. Interesting. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool. Uh, I'll move forward. Okay. Let's dive a little into the marketplace pricing. Like, the idea here is to understand what are the fee structures, what's the pricing psychology that people are looking at. And when I talk about this, do keep in mind that we're talking about customers who are not based in India. The Indian pricing mentality and the pricing mentality of a customer who's sitting outside India could differ a lot. So we'll look at it with that lens. So let's see where it stands at the moment. So in terms of the fee structure, there are a few things that I'm sure this is very much similar to how a lot of the things are priced with marketplaces in India, but uh, there's basically there are these fee types that they charge. So referral commission, fulfillment, storage, listing and insertion, and some of the other key items. And then there are other costs over this, which we'll come to after that. But holistically, when we look at this, we are basically looking at a 15 to 35% depending on the platform. And the first line item where we are looking at the percentages is not the only one that comes in. There are certain charges that keep getting added over and over as and when you sell the product, basically. So Amazon US, we're looking at an 8 to 15% commission. Again, varies from product to product, HSN to HSN, but this is ballpark of where it is. Um, Walmart 6 to 15%, eBay 9 to 15%, Etsy's 6 to 7% is generally what we've seen. TikTok Shop turns out to be the lowest one out of this, but then you also end up paying a 15 to 20% affiliate commission to the creator that you work with. We've seen TikTok Shop to work out and be the most viral ones, like the place where it gets the most viral, and you get attention from more people than you are thinking, but it varies. Not every product works out on TikTok Shop. And loan specific to UAE, we are looking at a 5 to 20% margin over there. Fulfillment fees varies actually from each of these that you go to. It depends on what region we are talking about. Uh, we also recommend for first time brands or like first time exporters when they are starting to look at UAE and the Middle East in general, because it's proximity to India. And at the same time, the audience that you are going towards, they're also more the behavior of the audience is more like the Indian audience, and it becomes easier to build that story that we've been selling in India for some time. Obviously, there are good enough margins when you go over there. The purchasing power is actually good. Um, US, we've seen it to be the number one in terms of volumes, but we are seeing the percentage growth to be much better in UAE as things start to scale up. Storage, I mean, depends again. I'll talk more about Amazon US, which is the number one in terms of marketplaces where people go. So 0.87 to 2.4 per cubic feet. Then there are charges that come up later as well. So let's say if you store with them and 365 days have passed by and you're not getting any um, orders or something, it's there, then they start to charge you for that. So the dead stock that's over there, that's also a challenge. Listing and insertion could vary. I mean, some of the marketplaces do it for free. People also decide to work with agencies to do this, but like that's where a lot of the global selling teams at places like Walmart and Amazon are doing that initiative to make it as simple as possible for a lot of the brands that they operate with. Then we're looking at if we were to look at this at, like we've talked about percentages, but when we say like, okay, this is a $25 item, roughly we are looking at the same $8 to $10 range in all the cases where you'll end up paying that to the marketplaces. So four pricing strategies that actually drive results on these global marketplaces. Now varies, you can take up any of these, and it varies from brand to brand and an exporter to exporter, which one works out for them. So one is cost plus pricing. So where you say you actually calculate the landed cost. When I say landed cost, you're actually covering your shipping, duties, all the fees, returns, and everything, and then you come up with a price basis that. So now duties, and so that's where it's very important to figure out what HSN you are using. It doesn't matter as much when we're talking about domestic shipments, but it's very important when we're talking about cross-border. The reason for that being your if you declare it on a certain HSN or a certain HS code, and once it reaches the destination, if it doesn't match that HS code, or it, let's say if you're talking about a cotton shirt, but the HSN code could have been a cotton shirt with a silver lining or something of that sort. So you have to get the exact one, and this is a one-time effort when you start selling. So make sure that you get your SKUs vetted with a compliance expert before you actually got onto a marketplace. Because in the end, what this could lead to is compliance issues at the destination, but also getting your products banned on a marketplace. It's very important you look at things that way. Uh, Never sell at a loss, obviously. I mean, I guess this is not advice that you would have not received from someone else also. But the reason for that is the way you price your products on marketplaces that determine how it's going to be in the future. You cannot actually change your pricing overnight. Like there are certain marketplace rules as well that you have to adhere to. Second one is actually being very competitive over there. So monitor prices of what the competition in those local areas are doing. So there are certain tools that I mentioned here, Helium 10, Jungle Scout, Kepa. You can look at these. What they do is they help you with keyword searches and try to help you find what the competitors in these areas are doing and then price your product accordingly. So one of the examples that we've actually seen is there's a bed sheet. These bed sheets are sold as bed sheets in India, but when you go to the US, and these are block printed, let's say block printed bed sheets. When you go to the US, these bed sheets could be sold as wall hangings as well. So you really need to figure out the right keywords to be used and how the competitors are pricing that. Psychological pricing obviously works. So the 1999 thing is something that actually came from the West versus the $20 strike throughs on the original price. Uh, Bundles actually work a lot. So we have certain customers who are doing products like copper bottles. They would be selling, let's say, a copper bottle for $60, but the bundle is going out for 79.99. And that's something that works out a lot because people tend to buy bundles more. Um, and that's where we have also seen sets being used for gifting and stuff like that. So it's also about how you price it and how your bundles are priced, giving that discount rates upfront. So like that's something that's very important. So reviewing that with a marketplace expert or probably the internal marketplace teams that all these Amazon, Noon, and Walmart have is actually a good way before you start. And value-based premium, obviously, you're selling a story in the end. So price it higher and justify with your story. Um, We've seen brands who go D2C or like eventually have plans to go D2C and are starting with a marketplace. Don't miss out on your story. Like make sure that you sell that story within your products on marketplaces as well, because that will get you the premium, which will actually help you. And like it kind of portrays that intent that you're actually selling a product. Let's say if you're selling the India story. So it's very important to make sure that you justify that with your story over time. Um, just a few things when we say strategy from a marketplace matching perspective, we've seen that competitive pricing is something that people see a lot on Amazon, US, UK, and EU. So cost plus works over there. Etsy again, premium pricing works out. The reason for that it's a creative marketplace. You'll see all the products that are very creative. TikTok shop, like I said, you can go viral overnight, but the reason for that is also it's like an impulse friendly marketplace. So uh, pricing cannot be around the ranges of that $70-$80 in general because it's probably a $15 to $40 price range where people would just look at it and want to buy it. And Walmart has always been like this everyday low price approach. So whatever you are selling it on Amazon for, just cut it down by 5, 10, 15% and put it on Walmart. Okay, so hidden costs. There are a lot of hidden costs that come up later. In the initial stages, it seems like you're actually making money, but when you start looking at your balance sheets or your P&L in the end, you realize you were not making money at all. So you have to be very cautious of that and include these in your initial pricing or the buffer for this in your initial pricing. Some of them are like returns processing. There are free returns on certain products, but then it still eats up a certain part of your revenue. Um, you need a level of QC that needs to be done for certain products. So you have to make sure that you account for that. You take up that cost upfront from whoever you are working with, either a marketplace or a third-party provider. Placement fee, actually. This is something that gets overlooked again, but the moment you get your final invoicing and stuff, these fees are deducted. So it's something to look at. And this is one that I talked about before as well. So the aged inventory surcharge. After 365 days, Amazon would charge you a certain amount basis of the space that you're occupying in their warehouse. Currency conversion. Like there are almost we've seen 3 to 4% in charges going in currency conversion. So you can get better pricing. There are very good modern day players who are focusing. I mean, there are obviously Razorpay is there. Then there's a lot of players who are focusing on the currency conversion piece. But this is what you start with, or this is what you'll get in terms of initial quotes. The moment you keep adding volumes, the bigger you get, it starts to get better for you. But you have to account for that in your first few orders. Advertising is actually something where 10 to 20%, let's typically for Amazon, it's 10 to 20% of your revenue. When you start, you need to rank up in terms of the keywords that are searched. So only then you can get relevant. And I'm sure like if you have sold on a marketplace before, you would have seen all these things. Duties, taxes, VAT, GST obligations, make sure you're compliant. Like this is something that I say very often. Um, Whatever area you're going into, do check for these duties and VATs because it comes out as a part of the landed tax, landed cost calculations. You have to do this upfront because otherwise, once you ship your first few orders, it comes out as a surprise, and then people start to feel that going international or like going global is a challenge actually. But if you have accounted for all of this, you'll probably thank me like 6 months, 8 months down the lane when you'll start to see those numbers at the bottom and you knew these were pricing or these were costs that were supposed to come. Um, One thing, pro tip that we actually recommend, and we do this internally as well for the brands that we work closely with, um, we study the line item costs um, at over a spreadsheet basically for each of the marketplaces that they sell on because this can keep changing. So if you saw it today, don't go back to it after 6 months. Ideally, I would say do it as a weekly exercise with your team, but still every 2 to 4 weeks is fine because fuel surcharges, a lot of these things keep changing. So make sure you're tracking that end metric. And obviously, if you're going below the 10% range, it's danger zone because we have sellers actually selling from India. We are selling a product at a certain price in India. We are going for that premium pricing when we sell globally. So, like, you should be making this much margin in the end. Okay, cool. Interesting part. So, case studies. What has worked? What has not worked? So, we'll be looking at a few examples of Indian brands that cracked marketplace pricing. I've tried to point out a few brands that are in this cohort as well for whom this could be relevant. I also wanted to take a quick pulse check in between. If there are any questions about the things that we've done so far, talked about so far, I think it'd be nice to just take them and then go back to um, the case studies, I guess.
Yeah. We have one question, Sanchit. Vivek, would you like to unmute yourself and ask, please?
Yeah, actually, I had two. So, number one was I wanted to know if we are a jewelry brand and we want to ship it to UAE. So, talking about the Noon marketplace, do you
Mhm.
think anything with price point of about 10,000 and above would work there, or that's on a higher side for a marketplace?
I think from a UAE perspective, like I said, like purchasing powers a lot. Like in the end, whatever you see in UAE, you'll see everything that's premium in general. Like if we talk about majority of the people over, it actually depends on what you're selling for this 10,000. So it's tough to say. whether for this 10,000 we're going for a specific like ear jewelry or like rings or whatever. So
Well,
it depends on that. If you can give
that's
me
been
more idea.
taken care of, assuming that we are bringing something which is not there or has a little USP. So then I was just trying to understand, because sometimes what happens, like in India, in Amazon, a lot of shipments also sometimes gets lost, theft,
Yeah,
and all those things. So in with those things in mind, I mean, if it's not a problem, then then we
yeah.
should look at, yeah,
I mean, I would say get insurances for all this, but
yeah.
the bigger question is like, is the seller coming onto a marketplace for jewelry and specifically for a jewelry that's worth 10,000? Like that's the question to answer. I feel uh, when you do that, you either and just FYI, UAE, Dubai is still a very big offline market. So
Hmm.
people still go out and do that. But yeah, I would say exploring D2C might also make more sense. But like
Hmm.
always, I personally feel always have your products listed on marketplaces. You can still ship from India instead of fulfilling it from there. So that way you're not giving up on your inventory in short.
Mm. And any thoughts you have in terms of shipping to or selling in Sri Lanka? I just saw a post today which was talking about there's huge tourism influx and people are having great spending power at this moment, and they kind of also resonate or they buy a lot of
Yeah,
Indian products. I'm just curious to know if you have any thoughts on that. I would just
yeah.
love to pick your brain on that.
100%. Just I would say going with local channels over there, maybe offline. And when I say local channels, selling on the local marketplaces over there might make more sense. We haven't been doing a lot of work on Sri Lanka, to be honest. Like, I don't want to guide you on something which probably I'm not sure about. But just going with local channels might make more sense instead of like depending on probably the global ones, like let's say an Amazon or something.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Bharat, go ahead.
Okay. Hi. So, I just, in relation to what he asked, I am also in jewelry and I tried selling on Noon. So, their basic, I understood the compliance was to be a UAE company. So, is that true, or there is some way that we can try and sell, because we were not able to sell not being a UAE, like a UAE registered company? So, just
yeah. I
wanted
mean,
to check.
sure. In that case, like going with an importer on record. So basically, having an IOR makes a lot of sense when you do this. It is a mandate, unfortunately, over there to be a UAE based company, but there are a lot of IORs. I can definitely connect you to one, and that should solve your problem. It's just that they'll collect payments on your behalf, and then they'll remit it to you in India, so you should be fine.
Hi, sorry, can I interject here for a second? So I was just contacted by someone from Noon. Now it is either shady or I've really come across something really cool. But they reached out to me about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and they told me that they're starting this thing called they're starting a whole drop shipping model from India for Indian brands who have about a minimum of, let's say, 50 SKUs and up.
Yeah,
So what they will do is they don't need all those registrations anymore, and they're not going to stock up your product in the UAE. They're going to drop ship each product as per the orders on Noon from India itself. So they'll take care of the shipping. The guys will come pick it up one and one and go. Is that legit? Like now it's sounding like a farce.
I mean, I haven't personally heard of them like coming to do the pickups and everything because I haven't seen that yet. Could
Got
be the case, like you were picked amongst one of the first few pilot customers, but I haven't heard from any of our customers yet that like they're doing the
Yeah.
pickup and getting everything done.
Because I checked the email ID,
I
it
would
says
like to
Noon.
add here that I'm sorry, I would like to add here that we're on noon.com and it's legit, but you
Correct.
sell
All right.
as
Yeah.
a global seller. So people might not pick you up because I've been there for, even though I've not like optimized my listings, but I mean, because I've lived in that market, so I know that people don't pick you up because the timeline is like 10 days. They'd rather get something in like 2 days. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Q-commerce is also there. So, a customer wants stuff faster, but it's legit. You should definitely try it out.
Got it. Got it. Thank you so much. Just checking if it's legit.
Yeah. Bharat, do you have an add-on
Yeah.
question?
Yeah. So I just, wanted to ask too, in relation to what you said, that basically means I don't need to open a company there. but someone on our behalf will list and take the money and send it to us over in India. Does that mean that, or I have to open a company? It means that.
Yeah, I mean, generally there are provisions in terms of importer on record, and that's available in every market that you go into, so they can do this on your behalf. Uh, as in, when you scale up, I mean, when you start looking at costs and stuff, and if it's working out well in the market for you, then you start to think about like having your own entity in every region that you go to. But like initially, if you are very convinced, sure, you can go with that. But generally, IOR as an option is always available.
So, sir, IOR basically is there in all the countries, like because I was seeing some country in Europe, even their requirement was that you have to be registered in that particular country. So this IOR thing that you're saying is can be done anywhere. Like,
Yeah. Yes.
okay, so it'll be great if you can help us connect to some of these companies. Thank you.
100%. Uh,
Nikhil, go ahead.
Yeah, hi Sanchit, I'm Nikhil and I'm based out in Dubai. It's been 10 years I'm in Dubai. So I have tried Noon. Unfortunately, outside India, again, where we got a very high return, and that's the problem with Noon, and there are a lot of fees to it. So in your table, wherein you are comparing all the marketplaces, I want to understand the market of US and other portals or even the TikTok. How much percentage is return in general? Even if it is specific to any industry you want to tell, I'm fine. Beauty and personal care is the one I'm into. I'm into perfumes. So if you can enlighten a little bit, because it's a major factor for your pricing. Other things we know,
yeah.
it's what it is, but return is something which again your screw your PNL or maybe it can improve your PNL. So any
Yeah.
percentage you can share with us.
Yeah, I have a few case studies around this specifically as well, which we'll go to in a bit. But see, there's no, uh, I mean, unfortunately, there's no defined metric, so it varies on how you work with your product. Now, for cases in where we are seeing beauty and personal care, a lot of the returns and stuff are also because of how people don't focus on packaging in the first place. In the end, it has to go through multiple legs. Like, let's say if it's going from India or even if it's getting delivered over there, packaging is something where people struggle with. Uh, and that's one of the reasons for return. In your case, and you said you're into perfumes, right? Yeah. So a lot of the times what people don't account for is like perfume could be a DG product, non-DG, like these sort of fees and stuff, which makes it tricky in the end. And not every warehouse or every third party player that you work with would want to store DG goods. So that's also a thing. So we generally recommend starting product by product from India and seeing how it is working. I mean, to be honest, you can forget about returns. Like it just doesn't make sense to bring it back to India unless it is actually a product that is very high value and you have to bring it back. What we offer to some of our customers is store with us or like bring it back to our warehouse in the US, let's say, and then the QC is done on it and it can be refulfilled. But for that also, your product should hold that much value that you are willing to pay for the returns and everything. So, yeah, does that answer your question?
Yeah, it answers. So, my 2 cents to it. In India, for example, we are doing multiple marketplace as well. I have website, I have
Hmm.
Meesho, all the platforms. So what
Yeah,
I see in Flipkart, my return is less than 2%, and in Meesho it is almost 6%. Everything is same. Product is same, operation is same, delivered by same team. So I tried to figure out what is causing the high return on Meesho, but couldn't find.
I think it's pricing in the end, right? Like, you'd want to price your products differently on different platforms. So we talked about this. You might be selling the same product for a 10% extra on Amazon, but a 10% less on Walmart. It's just the target audience that you're going towards.
Okay, okay, I understand. I understand. But in Dubai, my offline is doing good.
Yeah,
Uh, Generally, the distributors are the kind of people they will sell, and if you give them a little bit of free hand, that okay, if there is unsold inventory after 6 months and you want to move your product, we give certain additional benefits, so it moves very fast. So
yeah.
offline is great for Dubai if anybody is planning. 2 cents for the company thing they were talking about. Since I'm here and I was in banking as a data scientist, definitely you need to register a mainland company to entertain your product on Noon. Even if it is a SCZ company, you won't be able to do mainland business. And I haven't heard Noon reaching out to anyone, even in Dubai. If I talk about outside Dubai, leave it. But they are very strict on the policies. You need to submit a lot of stuff and need to get approval. And it is difficult. They don't allow products to be listed easily.
Yeah. Another point to add on that, like we've also seen with Noon, like generally there are like appointment-based deliveries. So you need to have work with someone who can actually help you with that because if you miss it, again, these are all added costs that come up later on marketplaces. You won't realize it, but that hits the last number in the end. Like you're not making money while going global and like specifically selling from India. I mean, like you're losing out on the actual opportunity. So it's good to actually do that research upfront.
Yeah.
Thanks, Nikhil.
Thank
Shruti, you
you.
want to go next?
Yeah, one last question before we go. Shruti, yours is the last question, and then we'll move on with the session. Yeah. Shruti, you're on mute. You will have to unmute.
Sorry about that. Sanchit, hi, I'm Shruti. I run this company called Underline. We are into home decor and art. A few months ago, I was approached by somebody from Produce, Produze. So what they do is they help small brands like mine list on Amazon Global, right? So my question to you is because of the very small team that I run, and because of the daily fires that a founder has to put out, like day in day out, are there agencies that I can go to help me get onto these platforms? Not just listing per
Yeah.
se, but logistics. I know you guys help with, right? If that is what you're experts in, who else are good at strategizing as to which platforms to get onto, which marketplaces to target, what pricing to do, etc., to sort of help us do that faster
Yeah,
than it would be if I sat and researched everything.
of course. Honestly, I can give you the connects to a few agencies that you can work with, but like I come from a tech background and I won't do justice if I don't talk about AI in this session. So there are tools like Claude and stuff which actually are, I mean, I'm sure everyone in the room has been using something or the other, but the research bit has become easier. I think what the agency does is they just give you the last second confidence to say, okay, go for this market. Like that's sort of the push that you're looking for. Okay, this market is better or that one's better. uh, but yeah, I'll connect you to a few agencies. I'd still say do your research, figure out the pricing, find your own. So I mentioned some tools in this, and I'll send you the deck if you need after that. So tools like Helium 10, they actually tell you what competitors are selling, what price point they are selling at, what keywords they are using. So definitely do that exercise. I'd not say just fully depend on that agency, but yeah, in the end, do that, do research using these tools, and then I'll send you the details for a few agencies you can work with.
Perfect. I was asking more about not just pricing and strategy that we've already done. Even packaging is
Hmm.
sorted out. So
Hmm.
somebody who will actually practically list these products out there, then manage inventory, stuff like that.
I mean, in the end, there are teams from Walmart Global Selling, Amazon Global Selling, who actually would do this for you for the first part of it. They work with you, they get you on it, they help you get your inventory live, your listings live. So working with them makes a lot of sense. But like if you still need to work with these agencies, there are a few, but they can do it in parallel at multiple places for you. I think that's the benefit of going
Okay,
with them.
got it.
Yeah, cool. We'll get back at it.
Yeah.
Just give me a second. I'll share my screen. Okay, cool. So, getting back, a few case studies that worked. What we have seen is like I'll be talking about a few to start with. So home and living brands, like they've scaled up to like $500,000 a year on Amazon US. I've put in some of the names of the brands in this cohort for whom it could be relevant. Uh, we've seen like eco-friendly products to actually work out very well. I was yesterday, I think, talking to someone. They were talking about eco-friendly bags. There's so many things that have worked out in that. It's more about a pricing journey, like how social proof in this case is actually driving the pricing over here. So this brand that we worked with, they heavily invested in review generation. So they spent a lot of time initially to get those reviews, and now these reviews can be through like sending probably free products to your customers, having a good chain over there. Like once it reaches the customer, how can you get those reviews? Obviously, Amazon also works with you, like the global selling team. Their initial idea is to work with you to get you those first set of reviews. I think they've also opened up showing your India reviews and other country reviews onto global marketplaces because they also realized that that initial hiccup was trying to figure this out. Um, we've also seen bundle strategies to work out very well. I think if you're sending like home goods and stuff like that, like bundling it with products internally makes more sense. It can be used for gifting. Like I said, home decor in itself is a very big category. So, um, what star ratings you're getting, what sort of an experience you're providing to that customer, like work with your Amazon representatives to figure that out. There have a lot of things to offer in those. So, like Amazon Wine was something that a lot of these customers used for the first 30 reviews. So, this is specifically the brand that I was talking about. They
Sanchit,
could
are
have.
you sharing something? Because I don't see anything on the screen. I think it stopped sharing.
Mm, it is
Can,
here. For me. Can
can
anyone else see it?
anyone else
Your
see?
screen is visible.
Yeah, we can
Yeah,
see the screen.
Okay, my bad. Sorry, I think it's.
I hope. Yeah. Uh, So once you start going into this, you start investing into like review-based models and stuff. That's when you start to increase your pricing as well. Like this works out a lot. Like, I mean, we have seen reviews being the number one driver over here. So uh, justifying your story in terms of what product you are selling. Like a lot of people think that just doing this on their D2C websites and building in that story over there helps. But there are brand pages, how you describe your item, what you do. I've seen customers in specifically US and Europe to actually look at those reviews. And there are case studies around that as well to look at those reviews, read what you're selling, because buying mission-driven products is something that people have also started looking at. So, like I said, bundling around it, set of tools specifically in this category, 15-20% discount. Uh, and actually keep raising your price with every review milestone that you achieve. Now, in this case, so they raise their prices after like their price is $2 after every 50 reviews to reach the actual price that they wanted to get towards. But again, like this could vary for you. Like probably you would want to increase it by $2, $5, depends on again what review milestones you set for yourself. And again, the tools that I mentioned in the start, those tools could be very helpful to look at. Um, and you can again see like this pricing journey based on reviews. So started with 18.99, then 24.99, 24.99, and then in the end jumped to 34.99.
So it's good, yeah?
Sorry.
Just unmute him. I think it's yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And yeah, that kind of also helps with the repeat purchase, right? As and when these reviews keep going up, like that's sort of where your repeat users start to come in. As much as we are talking about a marketplace session, it's also very important to realize once you start to see repeat purchase rate uh, on your marketplace orders, that's when it's the right time to start thinking about D2C also in general. Like uh, that's when your story is actually starting to work out. So this is something that we see. Uh, Another one that we saw was how a fashion brand can win on Etsy with this premium pricing. So a lot of the Indian artisanal brands, like the fashion category, hand like basically these hand blocked scarves, apparels, bed sheets, and stuff. Uh, and I think we have a few brands in this cohort as well. So these these brands, like the way they're getting to this premium pricing strategy, is because of the way they are actually positioning themselves. So ethical, that's right, ethnical, handmade, slow fashion. Like actually, the handmade story we've seen is something that's worked out very well. And specifically on Etsy, the reason being again a creative marketplace, people are coming to Etsy to spend time on it. They actually want to see um, very good handcrafted products that they can buy for their houses or like fashion products that they want to buy. So Etsy in some way works out in terms of premium pricing that way. So scarves we have seen somewhere around $45. Even though majority of the market, like let's say if you go and look for that similar scarf on Amazon, you'd probably look at it in the $15 to $20 range. Uh, Tops in the $65 to $85 range. and absorb the shipping cost over here, because you are selling at that premium pricing, because you are selling a product that you're saying is expensive because it's like actually handmade or slow fashion. Uh, Keep doing limited edition drops. Like this is something that we saw with this brand. They kept doing these drops every now and then, and that turned out to work very well for them. Key tactics, something that we see a lot of the brands on Etsy follow, is professional photography. Spend time on that. Sure, you can get AI generated images, but we have seen infringement cases and stuff. So I just want to warn you of that once. But again, if you can do it in the right way, you can get professional photography done for specifically every listing. I think that'll work out. One thing we do recommend is don't use the same for like the same images and photographs on all the marketplaces. Try to have it different basis the persona that you're actually targeting. Um, a strong brand story made by hand in India. Like this is a narrative that you should use. A lot of people think that they don't want to do this, but again, this handmade story is what's actually working on Etsy. And again, it could vary based on the persona of the people, like all the target audience that you're targeting. If you're going towards the Indian diaspora, you would want to do this. They want to flaunt these things in their houses. So, like, make sure that you do that. Uh, no discounts to start with. Again, like we saw this on Etsy. Like there are, if you're selling it on Amazon, it's different, but on Etsy, uh, just approaching this in that early access way has worked out. Uh, and then when you also go D2C, this is a strategy that a lot of the people follow, like this early access sales, waitlisting. So those sort of things work out. Uh, with Etsy, you can actually also do these personalized thank you notes and stuff in your shipping, because you take care of everything end to end from like basically the fulfilled by merchant route. So you actually end up delivering the product to the customer, obviously with help of players like Xportel in between. But with Amazon, you cannot do that. You cannot put in these things. Amazon actually keeps a check on that. So they're kind of owning the customer. With Etsy, like it's a little different. While all of this was happening, we can see like on an average 55% in terms of gross margin for the brands, like the case study that we did, a 35% customer return rate, and we haven't seen a lot of discounting on Etsy. Like I said, for this specific brand that we built this case study over, we never saw them come up with a discount. Um, just to summarize, story and photography actually matter more than price on Etsy. Customers will end up paying like 2, 3, 4x for the craftsmanship that you're actually trying to sell them. And you can build your D2C in parallel story from here as well. So like this could be a good starting point for some of the brands in the cohort already. Uh, Another one. So beauty brands. We've seen dynamic pricing across beauty brands when they look into Europe as a market. And this is something that I was talking before this as well. So you don't have to price your product in a similar way on every marketplace. You could probably price it 20%, 30% higher on one. Like let's say we talked about the Walmart and Amazon. It's just the target customer persona that you're going towards, to be honest. It's nothing to do with how the marketplace approaches it. But like if Walmart as a marketplace is meant for people who want to save money, like that's sort of this something that they say all the time: save money, live better. If it's meant for people who want to come for that specific thing, you would rather price it 10% cheaper than what you would put on Amazon for. Um, a lot of market specific pricing for some of the beauty brands that we were talking about here. So it was 18.99 on one of them, 21.99 on the other, 19.99. So look at that. The gap is not a lot. It's just that uh, some marketplace would want to keep products in that 10 to $20 range. Someone would want to say, okay, we are a premium marketplace, so we price it accordingly. But the definition for premium just doesn't mean that 20 to 40. Is that the moment you cross that 20 threshold, it starts to mentally seem like something that where you're spending more money. So that's sort of what I'm trying to say here. Um, there are a lot of free pricing tools, monitoring what competitors are doing. So in the beauty space, you might have to actually do it more often than what you would do for other products. Keep looking at what competitors are doing and keep repricing it. You might find your sweet spot, but you still have to continue doing it because that's the nature of the market in the end. There's a new product that's coming out every other day. Your end customer could be looking at 1,000 ads in this segment every day. So you need to make sure that you reprice it um, every few days, every few weeks, whatever works for you. FBA is obviously in the beauty segment, you would want to deliver it to the customer as soon as possible. So pan-European FBA with 2-day deliveries across Europe is something that this brand followed and it worked out. Um, Seasonality is also very big in general, like that stays across sectors, but during like Diwali gifting, Christmas and stuff like that, if you're targeting the Indian diaspora, um, if not still like deals around Christmas, bundling and stuff around festivals like Thanksgiving in the US, that's something that works out. But for this specific brand that we did for this case study, I mean, they had a lot of deals around this. Um, Weekly price adjustments, again, based on the signals, how much it's working, how much it's not working. So overall, like the results basis all this that we could see were like 1.2 million in terms of the revenue. In the second year, 35% margins, which were again very strong. And some of the brands that I've mentioned from the cohort in this, like you could follow these sort of strategies. Bestseller badges worked out. These bestseller badges on marketplaces eventually help because similar to reviews, you're actually building trust over there within the ecosystem. So like if a customer is coming back and they see that bestseller badge, just works out. And again, active in 4 markets at the same time. EU is one place, basically Europe is one place where you can actually sell into multiple countries, build that presence in multiple countries at the same time. Otherwise, in general, we recommend sticking to one region, and when you see it working, then trying to replicate it. It's not a like for like replication because again, target customers, persona of this audience could be different because we're talking about geographical differences. But yeah, like Europe is one place where you can still try that. Um, yeah, I think go to the next one. Okay, so these were the case studies. I have an action plan in between, but I'll take a pause here to quickly check if basis those case studies have any few quick questions that you would want to tap into or want me to double click on.
Brands who were specifically called out on the slides, I think the witch has just mentioned something in the comment. Do you relate to what Sanchit has mentioned? Do you have something else? Have you tried these strategies out? Would love to hear from you. Yeah, Soumya, go ahead.
Yeah, hi. So this is Soumya, founder of Bridge. So yes, I do resonate what Sanchit is saying in terms of handmade or ethical fashion coming into focus. I mean, we also get bulk orders from outside the country just because of this one factor that we are very true to what we are doing, and those keywords actually play a bigger role. And sticking to it is the major challenge. Like you definitely have to live up to what we are promising, right? Yes. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
I think it's very important to figure out what the right channels are for you when you when you when you're looking at demand in incoming demand also. I think like that's very important, and like it's better to do that upfront instead of waiting for that. Like the incoming demand is actually a signal of um, people wanting those products globally as well. So yeah, congrats if it's actually working out. Yeah, Nikhil, you want to go?
Yeah, Sanchit, you have shared industry-wise data for marketplaces. Am I right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Do you have anything related to their own website, like their Shopify or anything?
Um, when you are saying this, you mean for the brands, the case studies that we have built on?
Yes, yes. For the same brand, they have shared the marketplace stuff. Have they
Yeah,
shared something related to their own website, like either how to crack the market to bring people on your website and how they penetrated in a different market, different segment using their website? Marketplaces, I understand there are a lot of people coming already
of
and you
course,
need
of
to
course.
highlight yourself. But there,
Yeah.
the additional task is to bring the traffic.
Mhm. The way, and I might not have it handy, but I can definitely share it with you after the call. But like the way we have seen it on the website, it's about like building the story in the end. Like you have to bring them on, keep them engaged throughout the time that they're looking at your website. It's also about ads. So I've seen a lot of brands who are doing D2C. their ads are very creative. So if someone I'm talking about who's doing copper bottles, they are probably bringing in doctors to validate all this and say, okay, like this is a doctor that we've worked with. They're talking about these things, and these things actually work out. When we are talking about cross-border, that level of validation from a doctor is what people are looking for. So it's about the story in the end, but like make sure that story goes from your website to those ads, to the platform that you are selling on, to your packaging, to when it gets delivered to the end customers. You have to hold it to make sure that the repeat rate comes out. But yeah, I can share
One,
more data with you after that.
one last question. I have confusion on this. So
Mhm.
I've seen some brands having their Instagram channel or whatever channel geography specific, and some have a centralized one which they promote across. In your opinion, which is better way of handling your social media? Is it should be geographic centric or it should be global?
Um, See, no generic answer in the end on this also, but um, for your product, if your product requires different sort of certifications and claims, like let's say if you're saying, I help you do X in 99% of the time, let's say, if you're making a claim, you have to back it up with things, specifically when you go cross-border. So if you're doing those sort of things, then having a separate page or like a separate Instagram handle and stuff like that makes more sense because those people will be looking at this and then, I mean, you don't want to get into legal trouble in the end, right? Uh, and that happens. That happens in cases. But if it's a generic product, then going through the same handles is not a problem.
Okay, thank you.
Excuse me. Yeah, I had one question.
Sure.
Manas, can you
You
raise
said
your hand?
you said take.
Can you raise your hand, please? We have somebody else who's raised his
Okay,
hand.
sorry.
So
I
yeah,
raised. I don't.
yeah, no worries. You can just raise your hands and we'll follow the protocol. Vishal, go ahead.
Yes, yes, Sanchit. So I have a question. Like I have been also actively doing drop shipping through China and like stuff and directly sourcing it to the US and other countries, top five countries. The till now, what was my compliance setup is that I have like a company registered in Hong Kong, which help us collect the payments and stuff for that. But right now, that's a very heavy cost which I have to bear in terms of compliance and still I didn't get the money. I have to do multiple routes and things. But is it possible right now that if we could do it via India and everything, like obviously legal part, because I have all the suppliers in place, I have the like website in place, everything is in place, but I want to shift the compliance part to India. So how does that work? Have you like worked in this model or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Vishnupriya will connect you to the folks at Razorpay will definitely help with the payment piece over here. For the compliance side of things, it's more about getting the document. And just to understand your question is more around bringing the payments to India and doing it
Yeah.
that way, right? Like the payment specific piece. Yeah. So drop shipping can still happen from India. Once you send it out, all you will need is a shipping bill that you need to send to your payment provider or to the bank. Basically, you will get it knocked off for you. When I say knock off, it's just telling them, okay, see, this is
Yeah,
what I
the
shipped, yeah,
BO,
right?
bill of entry.
Yeah, yeah. So there are a lot of payment gateways. I mean, you're in the right session. I'm sure Vishnu Priya will connect you to the folks at Razorpay. There, you'll be in good hands. You can definitely get all of that sorted because payments can come in directly. There'll be a payment gateway in between. They can come
Mm-hmm.
in directly to India. All you need to do is just give them the shipping bill.
Okay. The only problem I have faced is that when I use the regular like check payment gateways instead of their the important thing is still we don't have a shop pay in place. Because of that, I see a lot of drop-offs. Like the conversion rate is still lower. So that is the challenge why I have to go through this route. But I'll try definitely see how does that works. And
Yeah,
just
I mean it's about
yeah.
just to address it's about having the local payment methods over there. When you're working in
Mhm.
a region, let's say US, you have Apple Pay that works. So having that on your payment gateway helps. Like if you are, let's say in Singapore, whatever mode they use over there, those things help. They help you with avoiding those drop-offs. So I mean, you can work with your payment providers. If it's not there, You ask them for it, I'm sure they'll bring it to you if there's enough demand in that area for that and they're seeing enough drop-offs.
Got it. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Shruti, go ahead.
Yeah. Sanchit, going back to the slide on home and living brand, the case study that you presented, you said they invested heavily in review generation early. And you mentioned that one of the techniques they used was to send free products to customers, maybe. How did they do that while they are on a marketplace? Do they get customer data to be able to
So
do that and contact customers again?
I mean, essentially, it varies on what marketplace you are selling on. Let's say, like with Etsy, like I said, oh, sorry, you do the entire dropping to that customer on certain marketplaces. It doesn't work for all. It's not one strategy that works for all marketplaces. Uh, Not a hack, not something that people should be doing, but generally, I mean, if you are doing fulfilled by merchant, people put in a lot of things in that, leave in a review, do this, do that. When you go into the FBA, like FBT, these sort of models, it's just not possible. Like in the end, then you're giving control for logistics to them. But yeah, these Amazon teams also help you with reviews actually. Like if you work with them, they'll help send emails or like basically the global selling teams will help you get reviews by sending emails to these customers, like through obviously their automated channels where they come back and post a review. It's tough to get uh, the first set of reviews without the push model, obviously. But yeah, that's sort of what it is.
Got it. Thank you.
Awesome, Sanchit. I think we can move ahead.
Okay. Uh,
Yeah, I had a question. I think I raised
oh
my
yeah,
hand.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, Manas, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, so I would like to continue where Nikhil left. Even I would like to know how to sell on our own website rather than marketplaces. And one
Um,
more thing is TikTok is banned in India. So how do we use TikTok Shop?
yeah, you need to for the D2C session, I guess, Vishnupriya, we might have to slot in more time because anyway, when you talk about D2C, it's a whole different ballgame. The reason for that being running ads, how do you run ads, what areas to operate in, what are the costs for those ads? That's mainly what it is. Uh, then in the end, what customer, and I'll try to address this just within a few seconds, that what customer you are selling to. Your story should be like that. Your Shopify page, let's say if you're on Shopify, every region that you go into, it should be localized. Let's say you're selling in US, if you can do all these things in the regional languages and stuff, like it starts to work out better. You might have to do a separate session for that. To the second point of TikTok Shop, you have to have an entity in that country to sell on TikTok Shop. So that's not avoid, like you cannot avoid that. Even with the IOR piece, I mean, you can use the IOR piece, but like it's recommended to have that entity in the end. If you are going on TikTok, you should be willing to spend a certain amount and they basically burn that initial set of funds to actually get all this done, like set up your entity and stuff like that. So you have to have that validation upfront basis that product category and stuff.
Okay, live shop is not there in India, right? In any of the
Mhm.
platforms right now.
Mhm. I mean, I do see Flipkart trying something around that. I don't know if it's fully rolled out or not, but Flipkart's trying around that.
Like the way we see a lot of people are doing live shopping, they are explaining the
Yeah,
product live and then selling it with a single click.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Live
it's on D2C platforms. I've seen a few. I can't recall, but like I've seen a few ads that I clicked into, and then when I went on it, there was someone. I mean, it's still not live actually. My bad. Yeah,
Yeah, like we
it's
cannot go
not live.
live on Instagram and then start selling.
Yeah,
Like we have 1 lakh followers, so we
yeah,
cannot go online and start selling, right?
yeah. Yeah, not an option today. I mean, people do that on Twitch and stuff, but it's you have to put in your connections to the right tools and stuff to make it work. It's not a straightforward process.
Yeah, the way TikTok is offering, that is not there in India right now.
Yeah, yeah, not in India. Uh, Cool. I'll quickly jump on to a few things that I had prepared. So this is a five-step marketplace pricing framework that I recommend people to look at. So audit, like firstly, bring all your landed costs. Look at shipping, duties, all the fees. Reserve some spend for the returns part of it. What will you spend on ad? And then come out with, like, bring this on a spreadsheet and then come out with what you'll end up making, decide your pricing according to that. Don't say that I have to sell it for $90 and then come down from it. Rather say, after including all costs, I'm probably ending somewhere around $60. Let's say if I add like a 10, 20, 15% margin, then look at what your competitors are doing. So that research is very important. Track the prices. Like I said, a few tools, Helium 10, Jungle Scout, and Gepper. Look at what your competitors are selling, what keywords they are using. If you sell t-shirts, or let's say if you sell bed sheets, the example that I used earlier, just don't look up for bed sheets and then be like, okay, my competitors are selling it for $20, I'll do it for 18. Look at other keywords that could be in that area and then price your product accordingly. Match to the marketplace. So choose a strategy according to what your what your product represents. If you're selling premium, go on Etsy. If you want to go to the impulse buyers, go on TikTok. If it's competitive, go to Amazon. And everyday low price, go to Walmart. Once you gather all of this data, like look at the 5 to 10% discounting on what your competitors are doing or what your target price is. Like, let's say if you defined $100 as the price for your item, start selling for 90 and eventually go to 100 because you know that within 100 you are close to market or at par with the market. For 90, you'll probably able to get some eyeballs to start with. Gather those reviews, and then, like I said, we saw this in the previous framework. Increase it by $2 or $1 with every review milestone that you hit, because you're kind of building presence over there. You're gathering that trust in the market, and after all this works out, like you start to optimize. When I say optimize, again, raise prices after 50 plus reviews. Start looking at bundles. Bundles is something that works out so well in the US. So do look at that. Most of the products can be bundled. Probably there might be a few which cannot be, but most of the products, or like most of the brand, categories that you guys are operating in, it could be bundled. Review that every few weeks. Try to make different sort of combinations in terms of bundling, and then see if that expands your margin. In the end, bundling is for margin expansion. So do it that way. Pricing, actually, this golden rule that we say, pricing is a continuous optimization game, not a one-time decision. So get the right tools. If you are not able to find a tool, do this on a spreadsheet, but keep doing it. Like you will get enough margins to operate from the global markets, but make sure that you keep looking at your pricing strategy, because if you forget it for a few days, you could go much lower in terms of, like, you could actually take a hit. Like, things change. Like, let's say Amazon changed their um, FBA fees or a fulfillment fees someday. You're actually making, like, let's say $5, you might end up making $1 after that, but you realize it like 6 months down the lane. So keep like, stay updated with all those things. Okay, just a quick plug-in of what we do here. So we are here to help you guys win on global marketplaces or D2C. So we start anywhere from a 50-gram shipment. We are connected, like, we can go all the way up to 20, 50, $100, $500, whatever you want. Oh, sorry, 500 kgs, whatever you want from a shipment size. We're plugged into every major marketplace: Amazon, Etsy, eBay, Walmart, TikTok, Noon, wherever you want. So you can sync it all into one place. We believe, like, we want to help you with the compliance and logistics piece, which is very important. So when you're starting to think about going global, or you've started with your first few orders, do have that consultation once. Like, make sure that you have all the documentation. This hit, you don't want to take this hit later on when you have actually started to find momentum in a global market, and then you realize that, okay, I was not compliant or my logistics piece was not sorted, because you lose that momentum and then you have to start again. So it's very important to do that. We'll help you with those things. Global shipping, fulfillment. So we take care of end-to-end deliveries from wherever you are in India to 100 plus countries. Um, we also do source and destination fulfillment. So you can store with us in India and fulfill from here. So it could be pick, pack, and deliver from here on. Bigger reason for that is a lot of the brands are not based in areas closer to the port. So we're just trying to minimize the time that it takes to deliver globally. And you can store with us in US, UK, Middle East. And we do multi-channel fulfillment for you. So you could sell on any marketplace, or you could do D2C. Just for this call, we'll be offering a 30-minute pricing audit session. So you have my email over there. Just drop me an email. We can get on a call. We can spend some time on looking at how you are pricing things. We can do that Excel sheet calculation. Just think of it as a session where we are just sitting down, brainstorming, putting all those things into an Excel sheet one by one. and trying to see what margins it comes down to and like where can we optimize. Uh, cool. I think that's all I had for today. I'll hand it over back to you, Vishnu.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sanchit. We have 15 minutes over time, so I'm very scared of opening the floor for more questions. What I will do is, folks, I will obviously send you an email today, post the session with the session takeaways, Sanchit's deck, and his coordinates as well. As he's mentioned, you can write to him specifically if you want to speak to him more, jam with him, chat with him, brainstorm with him. Thank you so much, Sanchit. This was a wonderful session. We all really enjoyed it. And thank you everyone for attending. The schedule I will be putting on the WhatsApp group as well. I'll see you all tomorrow at 11 a.m. in the morning. Awesome.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you.